It's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. So today we're going to do an easy ombre background, but we're not going to be making a card out of it. I'm going to show you how to cover a booklet and make it into something that you can use to take to work, put in your purse, just have as a memo pad. So that's what we're going to be doing with it. I've already put my bag of cornstarch on it, and if you've never seen this before, I put cornstarch in doubled over pantyhose. Well, it wasn't pantyhose, it was like a knee high, and then I tied a knot in it. No muss, no fuss, but it works great, and that's all you can ask, right? So let's I'm using Tim Holtz Embossing Distress Ink because I got a bunch of glitter in my other one and it was driving me nuts. So until I buy another Versamark, this is what I'm using. The only thing I don't like about this is the pad is not that much higher than the plastic itself, so it makes it really hard to really get in those spots that you need to make sure you're getting into. Okay, I think we got it. If we didn't, we'll know in a second. What I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm going to lay it right on my paper. Now, if you've ever watched me do this, you know I normally do it the exact opposite. I normally, when I have a big stamp, I normally put the big stamp underneath and I put the paper on top. But because I'm trying to line up those lines, I can't do it that way. I'm going to tell you about these stamps in a second. I love these stamps. They're from Rubberneckers, and I have that video. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll link it to here. That had the swirls in it that were really pretty, and there were swirly flowers. I can't remember the name. I apologize for that, but I'll link that video, and it's another one of their background stamps. It's just beautiful, and I really love how deeply etched their stamps are, and they make such beautiful pieces of work. Okay, that's that one. So now let's do the other side. Get that out of the way for a second. I'm sure it's going to stay wet until I get this on here again because it's soaking wet, which is great. Okay, let me flip this one over. And again, my goal here is to get it lined up with the other one on that line that we drew. I know you're holding your breath with me, or else I'm the only one holding my breath. Could be just me. Probably was. I'm going to show you, while that's sitting there, I'll show you this one. This is what the image should look like when it's done. It's called Mums. It's gorgeous. And the other one that I just got, I got a bunch of stamps. The Rubbernecker people are so wonderful to deal with, and after they saw my video, I asked them if it was okay if I used their name in the titles, and you know, that I got permission to use their stamps, and they were so lovely. They sent me a bunch of stamps and said, we don't want anything in return, and that was just, they're just such wonderful people. So sweet. And I just want to show you those stamps. This one is called Abstract Roses. This is not the one I used the other day. The one I used the other day, I can't remember the name of it. I apologize. But that one was equally lovely. And I've already stamped out the Abstract Roses and embossed it for this technique so that we can try out a bunch of different things. As well as I stamped out some words. I stamped out create and dream and believe. And so those are going to be on another project we're going to do. Well, I'm going to do. Then let's see. I got to find what I do with my spare paper. Spare paper. We'll just call it scrap for now. Here's my scrap paper. And I'm going to be using some White Ranger embossing powder. In case you didn't know what kind I use, that's the kind. I like their embossing powders. They work really well for me, and I'm not the world's best embosser. I will be honest with you on that. I'm not sure why I'm not that great at embossing, but I definitely have my moments where I'm not that great at it. Okay, let me scoop a little bit on that. I didn't get that edge really well. Still didn't get that edge. That's okay because my book isn't that wide. Lucky that's where it's at that I didn't get that good of an image. Good. Okay, let me get some of this off. And then let me clean this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so before I go any further with my book, I didn't want to do the ombre effect until I got my book covered and ready to go. And I bought this from the Dollar Tree. It's got this eraser in it that I won't use, but I will use these clips inside and this cute note paper. And so I want to pull those out and set them aside so I don't forget about them. And then we'll use the other pieces. Well, this is a nice little container to use for things later on, you know, like other projects, because you could use it for a palette even. Anyway, so we're going to be using this and these in our book. And I measured out our book. Our book is 3.5 inches across and 5 inches tall. So when you make a cover for a book, what you have to do is you have to take into consideration it's 3.5, the back is 3.5, and this end piece is 1/2 inch. So I've already made that paper and I've already scored it. You're going to score it at 3.5 because I hope you can see that. You scored at 3.5, and then you also have to score it at 4 because you have that 1/2 inch for this end piece. And when I do anything with tear tape, I like to put down wet glue, and in this case I'm going to be using some of my just glue stick, because when you do that it gives you some wiggle room, and I need that because I make a lot of mistakes. The other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fold your score marks and make sure that they're really nicely folded so that you when you attach them to your book isn't going to have any problems with you know, with the lines not being clean. I would have used my bone folder, but I mean it works just as well with your hands. So our first step here is to take, I already took the pieces of backing off of the front, and now I'm just going to take this one off too and put a little bit of glue stick there, and I'm going to take, I guess I don't need to take the one off of that piece. Okay, so all we're going to do first is make sure that if we have any edges of our tear tape hanging over the side, we just want to make sure if any of those are there that we fold them back on themselves. Then you're going to take and you're going to line up your corner as best you can all the way, and like I said, that by putting that, sorry I can't talk and do two things at the same time, by putting that glue stick on there, it gave us the ability to move it just a little bit, and we needed that because I did have to scooch it around a little bit. So let me take the pieces off the back real fast, and I'm going to use, I guess I could use a orange pen, but I don't think orange is the way to go, is it? It's kind of bold. We're going with it. We're living on the edge, going with it. I might end up trying to, you can sometimes, if you can get these apart, you can sometimes put your pattern paper in there as well. Okay, so let's attach our end, and then we're going to set it on that end so that we're sure that the back piece is really well attached. Remember, this is not our last piece that we're putting on this book. It's just one of the pieces. Okay, so we're going to put our pen in the back, but the way we're going to attach our pen is you cut a piece of paper. This is about 1 inch high, and you wrap it around your pen like this. You want your pen You want your ends to match each other like that. You see how they're matched? And then you're going to kind of make a bend. See how I made that little bend there? Then what you're going to do is let me get that out of the way for a second. You're going to take your tear tape and you're going to go to that bend but not past it. That was the outside. Should have done this side first. Sorry, confused you. Do this side first where you only have one layer of sticky tape because this is where your pen is going to adhere inside. Okay, so we're going to make sure that our two ends meet like that, and then you're going to hold it together so that it's really well adhered. See why we shouldn't have taken the backing off this part? That's why I'm not a rocket scientist. Okay, see how well that's attached to itself? Now it's in good shape, and your pen will come in and out easily. And before we put our back cover on, we'll put some glue stick in here so that we can move it around if we need to. Fold all the pieces back on themselves if you have any that are sticking out over the edge of your tear tape. And then we're going to put our pen in first. And you can use a smaller pen, and I do have smaller pens. And you're going to just make sure that that is folded on itself. Remember, this is not our only paper, that is going to be covering this. So like right here you can see, I'm going to pull the pen out, right here you can see I got a little glue. We'll just move that out of the way, get it off of just take it out of there and just shove it underneath or get it out completely. There you go. And then you see how you can kind of see a little bit of pink right there from the old backing. All you have to do, slick as anything, it's gone. No one's ever going to know it was there to begin with. And we want to make sure we really push this down because we want our edges to... And the reason that you could see that was because when you do these kind of projects, you have to remember that the book that you got, I got this one from Michael's in their dollar section. The book that you're using, the edges of it are probably not even because, you know, you're getting it from wherever, and I don't think that their quality control on projects like this are super duper. So that's why I think you have that problems from time to time where the paper is just a little bit too long or too wide or whatever. Now our next page that we're going to put in here, this is our front page. I'm going to fold it back, and what you want to do when you make this page that's missing, there it is. When you make this page, the important part is making sure that you measure the inside as it's folded. And so I measured it, and it's still 5 inches tall, but now instead of being 3.5 inches, because we're folding this back, it's only 3 inches. And we're going to put that piece of paper in like that. So let me take the backing off that. Let me do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our pad ready. Now all we're going to do, I already had a malfunction when I put my tape down. What else is new? So you want to line that up inside, and remember don't forget to put that glue stick on there because it will help you a little bit if you need to move paper. And believe me, I've moved a lot of paper. Okay, put that like that. Ready to roll. Then you're going to fold on your score. And when I did that, I didn't do the best job of measuring, or else the paper wasn't exactly right. I'm not really worried about that. I did make this shorter on purpose because I want to make sure that this can fold. And I'm going to put this little pad of notes right here, like that. And I already put tear tape on those, so they'll go in no problem. And then if we want to put, you can put these little pieces in there too, the little clips. You can put them in there as well. We will worry about them in a little bit because I might want to put decorated paper on that. So now we'll get to our technique. We put our pen back, and that is the easy ombre effect. My pen does not want to go in. Come on, buddy. I don't like that pen. It bugs me. Gotta be honest, it's bugging me. I'm gonna go with this green one instead. It's got that little cute hooky thing, and it'll be fine. So there's that, and I'm gonna put that aside. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find our paper that we're gonna use. Okay, this is the, you probably can't see it, but it's the Mums from Rubbernecker. And those are the ones we started with. By now you've probably forgotten all about it. And so I want to use some colors that I think will look really good with this. And so I'm going to, on another piece of paper, I'm going to use on this white, I want to make sure my orange that I pick looks good with the with our orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press these in here like that, and I'm going to put it beside it. I don't know if you can see that. If you can't, I'm moving it a little bit. That was spiced marmalade, and this is ripe persimmon. I know that one doesn't look good. I think we're going to go with that spiced marmalade. I think it looks good with it. So the way we're going to do it, now you can do this with the tool, the Tim Holtz tools, or any other kind of tool that you want. I am not going to use a tool at the beginning. I am going to use a brush further down the line, but right now I'm going to just use the pad itself. These small pads work great for this technique, and that's why we're going to shoot for it. So you're going to really rub it around at the beginning, and we're going to be cutting ours down, our paper down, don't forget, because our image is bigger than our little album is. Okay, so we're going to go that far with the color. We're going to go to this side, do the same thing. And I'm pressing pretty hard. That's why I'm out of breath. Because I think I've already said I'm the most out of shape crafter in the world. Well, maybe not in the world, but pretty close to it. Okay, I'm probably going to have to switch over to my bigger one of this spice marmalade. Let me grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, now I was going to use this brush, but I will tell you the story about it. I got it at a craft fair, stamp show, and it just sheds like nobody's business, and there are very few hairs in it at all. And so I don't recommend, if you go to any stamp shows, I don't recommend the ones that Gary Berlin sells, because that's what these are. And they just have no hairs in them at all, and the hairs they do have come out. So I was listening to Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, and she was talking about, if you go to Harbor Freight, that they sell these 1-inch chip brushes. So I went, and they sold one of them for 69 cents, or a pack of 36 for $8. So I got the pack of 36. So if anybody needs some, I'll probably have some extras. I'm going to have one for every color, like red, but I thought we would try one out together because I haven't used them yet, and I thought, why not give them a shot today? Since that other brush did so well for me, I figured, why not do something that's going to actually, hopefully, work. So, oh, and I have, this is a craft mat that I got on eBay for like $1 from, I don't know, China or somewhere. So I'm just giving you all the ins and outs of where I got things, in case you wondered. Okay, and remember, we don't have to be really clean about this, because we're going to be cutting this off in, making it a lot smaller. I wonder if, when I did this, if I made these brushes a little bit shorter, if that would make a difference. You know what I mean? Like, if the brush hairs were maybe that long, maybe it would be easier to control. Just throwing that out to you, is my thinking on that. And I'm going to put a little bit of color all the way up. A little bit more right in there. And then we'll flip it over and do the other side. Got a little hair in there. All right. Now I have a lot of options here. I can either use the bottom part that's all super duper orange, or I could use more of the top section, or I could cut a little bit off of both ends. But whatever I do, it probably is going to make sense if I'm consistent. Nobody's going to see that front and back. Who am I kidding? Nobody's going to care about that. So let's decide how to trim this up. I think it looks good the way it is, as far as, I like the coloring on it. And I'm not going to want to have something on this edge, I don't think, because it's going to be hard to keep that there. So our piece is going to be 3 inches by 5 inches, I think, or a little bit over 3 inches by 5 inches. I could make it a little bit thinner and have a little edge on each side. Let's trim one and play with it, see what we think. And I'm using, I don't know if you've noticed my new trimmer, but I got this from Joann's when they had a sale. It's from Cricut, and I got it for under $10. I think it was like $7. No, not even. I think it was like $6 something when I bought it. And I have to say, in the world of trimmers, and I go through a lot of trimmers because I can never find one that works for me, I really, really like this trimmer. May, the Frugal Crafter, talked about it, and she wasn't kidding. It does really cut through a lot, and it does a nice job. So I'm just throwing that out to you. I do think it's a good trimmer. So let's just cut the ends off first and see, like where we are once we cut this down a little bit. It has to be 5 inches. So I'm going to go to there, I think. Nope, right there. Okay, and then let's cut off an edge. So let's see, I forgot one step in this process. It's stupid that I forgot it, but I'm going to rectify it now. I forgot to wipe off my white background here. I should have done that before. Now I can always wet this a little bit so that my background is whiter than it is right now, but rubbing it, because it's Distress Ink, rubbing it is, I think, taking most of it off. So now it's much whiter, and I'm more out of breath than I was before because I'm lazy. Alright, so let's go with, if we go with, let me take it to there and see how I like, if I make this. Okay, so let's finish this up. We've got the front cover and the back cover. Let's see which one I like better. I think I like this one better. And I'll get that one off my finger since it's attached to me. And I'm just gonna, I always do better if I turn things on their side so that I can see them like this. It's easier for me to know where I am in placing things. I'm sure you've heard me say that 1,000 times, but it just makes things easier. If I turned on this edge, okay. I'm gonna, now that I've got orange all over me, I'm gonna wipe it one more time because apparently I still have some orange that needs to come off. I also made a band for the back edge, lighter on the bottom, darker on the top. It's probably not the way everybody else does it, but I like it lighter on the bottom, darker on the top. Maybe it is the way everybody else does it. Just didn't sound familiar when I said it. If you know what I mean. Okay. Let me push that down. I'm attached to it. Let's see, I'm going to go a little bit more that way on this one, I think. That's good. Okay. Then I did make a little piece to go around my pen holder. I don't know, it might be cracking because it's so thick, so we'll wait and see if I end up having to take it off because of the thickness of it. I'll lay it in the center, my pencil thing, and just put the pen back in so that I can use it as kind of a brace. I didn't cut it to the right length because I wasn't sure exactly how long it was going to be once I played with it. So I think I need to cut a little bit off. My head was in the way. I'm sorry about that, because you know, I have a big noggin, and it was probably in that picture. So that's the back, and that's the front. Probably need to change my color of my pen. Oh, and I want to put my clips in. I decided that I might use something like this and put the clips, like, I'll show you how I do it. If you've never seen me do something like this, I kind of wing it, but here's the easiest way to do it. I'm trying to find my ruler that's right in front of me, like that, right there. And here's how I do this. I take and I make sure my paper is kind of straight, and then I bend it back like that. Then I do the same on the other end. You want to make sure you have some edge or some folded over so that when once you've put your you've adhered this to the inside of your book, that you're going to end up being able to get your pen or your paper clips to stick on on this and be able to take them on and off easily. Okay, so our last step, I took the tear tape off the back of those two folded ends, and it's ready to go. So then I can either put it on the inside or the outside of this paper, and I think I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to fold my two ends down like that, and you can go either way. You could do up and down or side to side, but I'm going to do mine like that, up and down. Push it in place, hold it down. So here is our book. It's got inside, you've got your paper clips, And in here we have your post-it notes. And then, of course, we have our pen and our pen holder in the back. And I picked a smaller pen that fits better and looks good with it. And I think it's cute. It uses a great technique with that ombre effect. And I hope you enjoyed it. And give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.